Hi and welcome to Crossyoga for teens and youth. My name is Rie. And as a young person, you will often have a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions because you're learning. I remember when I was a teen, all those feelings that overwhelmed me the first time. The feeling of being in love, like not just fascinated, but really deeply in love. And the feeling of being hurt if that love is not returned. I remember when a friend I had, I was afraid that he was going to commit suicide, and that feeling of being so afraid of what was going to happen to him. The joy and freedom I could feel when I was playing soccer or something like that. So every feeling and emotions might be really heightened when you're young and you're a teenager. And sometimes all those feelings, you can go from being like, woo, and then 10 minutes later crying. And it's actually pretty normal. So don't be afraid of that. And today I'd like to invite you on the mat to do a little bit of movement and poses, especially if you're in an emotional place. Either really joyful or really sad. It can be such a help to focus on your body and what your body feels instead of having everything just turning around up there. So join me. You don't need to be super stretchy or super holy Christian or anything. It is Christian yoga. I'm a personal Christian believer, but you can do this yoga with me, whatever you believe. So join me on the mat or on the carpet or whatever you have. We begin by sitting on the mat. So come down on your mat. And find a comfortable seated position. Now I'm saying come down on your mat. I don't know if you have a mat, but either if you have one or not, just feel the place around you. Feel the mat, feel whatever you are seated on. This is your space. All right? All right. It's safe and you're okay here. And we're going to try to have our sitting bones, it's called, on the mat. And if it's like, where are they? You might wrinkle a little bit from side to side, like, oh, okay, yeah, I feel it. I feel them right there. And when ready, let both of the sitting bones come down, straighten up your spine. And maybe it helps to think a little bit of distance in between your shoulder blades, like you're almost pulling your shoulders a little bit away from each other. Notice where your chin is it lifted, or do you tuck it down, or just have it somewhat looking straight ahead. So if your screen is like over to the side, maybe place it so you're looking directly into it, and maybe you'll move it in a little while. And close your eyes and take a huge, long, slow inhale through your nose if you can. Fill your belly, your lungs with air. And if you feel like they're really full, exhale through your mouth. Take a normal breath. And then do this huge breath again. Inhale. And exhale through your mouth. Normal inhale and exhale, whatever that is for you. And then one more last time. Inhale. Can you feel that chest expanding? Make sure your shoulders are not lifted. And exhale. Beautiful. Now this is a way of learning how to breathe deeply. We're not going to breathe that slowly through our class, but we're going to breathe slowly. Before I'll pray, let's take right hand on the left knee here and move your shoulders around, twisting your spine. Now look, I have a hand behind me, and that helps me not to lean back, but still have my head up like someone is pulling my spine towards heaven. And move to the other side. Again, tall spine. And let's do a little bit of moving with our breath. So take an inhale as you move your torso around, and exhale as you find your twists. And the other way, inhale, move, and exhale. And then try to do this as slowly as you can with your breath without being dizzy. Welcome to close your eyes. And as you move, notice how your spine is feeling. Does it feel good? And can you do this a little bit more slow? And do your last twist. Beautiful. And find comfortable seated position. Take your feet out if you feel like you've been sitting too long like this. I'll invite you to take your palms and maybe let your pinky fingers reach each other, and let your hands have like a bowl shape here. And if you like to pray with me or just listen, whatever, close your eyes. Just because that's one sense that we close on, and we can better focus, and just listen to my words. God, thank you so much for being here. Thank you that you see my hands empty. And this is all I need to come to you with. Just myself. I need not to perform or show great skills and grades or anything. I can come to you empty-handed, and you love me deeply, even with my hands empty. And then take your hands. We're still praying, but God doesn't care if we stop in the middle of our prayer. Take your hands and cross your arms above you. Take a hold of your shoulder or chest. Again, closing your eyes. And continuing my prayer. God, thank you that you know me just as close as my hands are reaching my shoulders and my chest. You know me, and there's nothing I need to be ashamed of. There's no feeling that you have not felt. And there's no feeling that you do not know. Thank you that I'm not alone, however I feel. And try to take that in. I'm not alone. And whatever feeling I have, maybe you find it a huge release and relief. Awesome. Let go and take your hands down on your mat. Come up on all fours. Hands, fingers spread out, and hands underneath your shoulders. Make sure you don't extend your elbows. And then do a cat-cow. Maybe you know this from other gymnastics or whatever class you have in school. Take your spine towards the sky, chin towards your chest. And then gently move. And you can also do this with the breath. So maybe you exhale as you suck your navel in, make a long spine towards the sky. And inhale as you lift your chest and look up. And maybe you feel like this sometimes. Sometimes you feel like crawled in, you want to be alone, you want to cry. And sometimes you look out joyful and happy, and you know it's all okay. It's all okay. It's perfectly normal. to feel lots of different things also in the same day. There's nothing wrong with you for feeling a lot, okay? It's more a matter of you kind of overreact on people whenever you're feeling things, or you try to learn how to feel things and be friends with them, and maybe not reacting on every feeling that you have. All right, next time, when your spine is straight, take your hands a little bit further ahead of you, again spreading your fingers out, tucking your toes under and lifting up your tailbone or your hips towards the sky, bending one knee at the time, so one foot or heel might reach the floor, maybe not. And maybe notice how it feels in your spine as you move your chest a little bit further towards your front thigh here. And maybe you feel stretch in your hamstrings, the back of your legs. All right. Slowly, slowly walk your feet towards the front end of your mat. I have my heel lifted, and you can bend your knee, whatever. No right or wrong way of walking to the front end of your mat. And then fold forward. Bending your knees if you need to, and sway from side to side. From your forward fold, bend further down in your knee and lift up your chest a little bit away from your thighs. Chair pose. Hands forward. And go low if you like, or not. Right now we're going to stand up with our hands above our head. Take your hands out to the side and maybe think, oh, I'm not alone. Lifting up your chest and thanking God that you're not alone with every emotion, feeling you have. Take your hands above your head again, straight spine, and move down in your chair pose. Awesome. Let's do that one more time. Take your hands up and move back, opening up your chest. Palms up, straight spine. Sit down in your chair. Let's continue a little bit more here. Inhale as you lift up, if you can. And exhale as you move back, opening up your chest. Inhale, take your hands towards the sky. Bend your knee, exhale. Awesome. A few more times. Inhale, high mountain, it's called. And exhale, opening up your chest. Inhale, straight spine. And chair pose. One last time, inhale. And move back, exhale. Hands up, inhale. Chair pose. And let your hands reach the floor again, forward fold. Awesome. Take your right leg behind you and pivot your foot around so the back end of the foot is aligned with the back end of the mat. Bend your front knee. Make sure the front toe is completely aligned with the long end of the mat. Knee. There's the knee and ankle above each other. Lifting up. This is warrior 2. Take your hands out and go as low as you like to today in your warrior pose. Looking towards the front end of your hand. And then breathe. Awesome. Let's move a little bit here. So stretching the front knee, take your hands above your head, maybe your palms meet. And bend your front knee, palms again, facing the ground without really reaching. Let's do this one more or a few more times. Hands up, inhale, and down. 3 more times. Inhale, straighten your front legs, hands up. And exhale down. Awesome. Inhale. And exhale. Last time. Soft movements. That's what I recommend at least. And then take your hands on the mat, framing your front foot, lifting that back heel before you step it to the front end of your mat. Forward fold, and let's go into mountain pose. Standing up, shoulders tucked a little bit behind you, palms facing forward. Close your eyes if you like and just listen to what the old psalmist 2,000 or 3,000 years ago wrote. He had a lot of feelings. Fear and tremble has beset me. Horror has overwhelmed me. Is something that psalmist David, King David wrote. And he had an idea of how to solve this. He said, "Oh, if I had the wings of a dove, I would fly away and be at rest. I would flee far away and stay in the desert. I would hurry to my place of shelter, far from the tempest and storm." But luckily, this was not what he chose to do. Maybe that's what you feel like doing sometimes, just getting away from your feelings, emotion. Maybe you try to do things, eat, to get those feelings to go away. Some people cut themselves because it's easier to feel that than the emotions. But don't try to hide or run away from what you feel. Give it to God. He knows and He cares, really. He can help you. He helped me a lot. Take your hands above your head. I can tell you more about that later. And forward fold again. Left foot move behind you. Pivot your foot around again. Warrior 2 on this side. As before, knee, ankle, toes the same direction. Front leg bended, back leg straightened out, hands out to the side, aligned with your shoulders. And then breathe. And take an inhale, take your hands above your head. Straighten the front leg and exhale. Again, knee moves directly in the line of your toes. A few more times. Inhale, take your hands up, soft movement. And exhale down. One more time. You might be faster or slower than my pace here. No worries. All right. Framing the front foot. Step it back. Down dog. Maybe you bent your knee a little bit standing here. Your heels doesn't have to reach the floor. It's a matter of how tight you are in the back. Come into your plank and then down on your belly. Stack your hands and let your forehead reach and relax on your hands. Try to notice if you can relax your whole body. Maybe your toes point in towards each other so your kneecap is not directly on the mat. King David wrote later in the same psalm as he had all these feelings and wanted to fly away and just get away from those feelings. He said, "Cast your cares on the Lord, and He will sustain you." And what does that mean? That means you can cast your feelings, good or bad feelings, amazing feelings, not amazing feelings, on the Lord. And He will help you. God is not he is a miracle worker. I was about to say he's not, but he is. But often he does not choose to take our feelings away like that. At least that's not my experience. But what he does is to give us some sort of comfort, or at least some idea that this makes sense. Now, whatever you're going through right now is also a school of emotions. And if you didn't go through all of this, you might not become that person that God intended you to. Because God has a calling and has a purpose for your life. And you need experience to walk into that. So no matter what you're going through and feeling, God can use that, turn that around into something that is so valuable. Something that might help lots of people around you. So don't be afraid. Lift your hands, or lift your head a little bit away from your mat. Take your hands forward a little bit. Toenails on the ground again. We're going to do a cobra, lifting our chest up and shoulders away from the ears. You'll feel this in the lower spine, lumbar down there. And if you can move your hands closer, welcome to do that. No competition. Time to relax your buttocks and glutes and butt. And let go. Come into a seated pose. Take your right leg a little bit out to the side, and then your left sole of the foot on the inside of your thigh. It doesn't have to pull it all the way in. Turn your shoulders toward that right leg. You get a little bit of a twist here. And just notice that you can choose to turn your shoulders. You could also turn them around the bended knee. And the same with feelings and emotions and all that. You can choose to follow your high feelings for a boy or a girl. But you can also choose to say, I know this is not healthy for me. I will turn the other way. God help me. I will make wise choices and not just go in directions of my emotions. Lean forward and take a hold of your foot. And as we're stretching here, you might feel it in your lower back or on the back of your leg here. I'd like to tell you a story. As I was in what you call a high school, I was really became in love with this boy in my class. You might know that one. And I found him so fascinating. And he was smoking a little bit of weed and had this kind of trashy, feeling around him, right? And somehow I was so fascinated. And I couldn't, for the love of it, figure out why. And then at some point, I think God just showed me that the reason why I was so fascinated by him was that he lived a life that was so completely different than mine. And in reality, it was maybe not him that I was in love with, but more the idea of being that relaxed about everything and not care about things and stuff like that. It was more that I was in love with or fascinated by than actually the person. And let go, and let's switch legs. And maybe you can recognize some of that. Choosing your path with God. Casting your cares, casting your feelings on him. That's the best way to go. And one last part of my story that I would like to share as well is that I think I kept a lot of my emotions inside myself. I didn't share a lot of things. And I had to learn that. And it is so healing to share your feelings. You can come out of that pose again. And let your legs go. Come down on your back, almost ready for resting pose. I just want to say, if you have a lot of things going on in your mind and you find it really, really hard to pick left from right and what to do with all that, the things that you're feeling, find a wise person to talk to. It can be your mom and dad, or maybe someone else. Maybe someone, if you attend church, a wiser, older woman or girl, depending on your sex, to talk to. I'm sure they would love to talk to you. So don't think you're bothering them. They would love to help you. And let go. Resting pose. I had a mentor also in my youth, and that was so helpful. I just want to say that she really stirred me by around some different things that I was working with in my mind. So I can really recommend having a mentor or just an older person that you can talk to about all these things. Okay, come down on your mat. Let your toes fall a bit out to the side, the hands down on the ground. And relax. And maybe as you did in the beginning, take a huge inhale. And sigh it out through your mouth. Psalm 55, cast your cares on the Lord, and He will sustain you. So whatever you're going through, you can always cast your feelings, your shame, self-worth on God. And be patient. God is often working slowly. And maybe in my life I feel very slowly. But He is working. I can testify to that. So trust in His peace and trust in His path for your life. There is purpose and meaning to be found. I promise you. You are so welcome to stay longer down on the mat, but I don't want to have this video too long. Before you're done, I would ask you just to think of one or two friends that you would like to share this video with. Friends that you know might need to hear what I have to say. And maybe just talk with them after they've been doing this video about what they gained from it, as a way of trying to talk about all these things. I would invite you to think about that at least. Remember, when you're done laying down on your mat, come up slowly and take your time. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this video helped you, and let me know if it did. Thank you.